I truly believe I truly believe that, and also good you just recorded that because I already forgot. I was like, what's that? But sharing your story, and I'm going to talk about a few things, but sharing your story, first off, is so important to like building your team and getting VIPs. A lot of times when people join me, like VIP or MP, they're not joining Monate, like they're joining me. And if you guys do have a team right now, like they're joining you. They're not just joining Monate. They're not just trying Monate. That's why it's so important to share your story in general and go live and do talking videos, like do things that people can feel and know who you are. So I hope that me being vulnerable, it can leave you guys feeling a little bit more open to being vulnerable with your followers and people that follow you and stuff on different social media platforms, because it is worth it in terms of being successful. And yeah, so I kind of want to talk about that storytelling type thing. I also want to talk just about confidence and belief, because I think that, especially I've been having some calls with my leaders, and I think the biggest reason why confidence and belief is so important is because who else here had a rocky last year, right? For me, like the beginning was great, and then the end, it was like, you know, a little domino effect. But for me, like it didn't really faze me. Like I had such a positive mindset because, like, I'll share, like I've been through shit in 2019 with my business that this was fine. It was worse, but I was actually more positive than before, which led me to like still love what I was doing and still enjoy what I was doing. And I still had that belief. And so sometimes you think that you don't need that full confidence, that full belief yet, but then when you go through something in your business, it doesn't faze you. And the people right now who are obviously on this call and just in general who are riding the lows and the highs just the same, or even riding the lows more than they're riding the highs, we're the ones that are going to prosper, like not the people who are jumping ship, you know? So first off, kudos to you guys, because obviously, yeah, it was a hard year. So super proud of everyone who is still here. Yeah, so I'm going to get into my story a bit. So I'm Kaylee Wells. I'm 26. I started Monate when I was 22. I want to dig a little deeper with you guys, like I said. So I'm going to touch on some things before kind of what made me my 22-year-old self. I feel like I hear a lot of times people haven't started and they're like, oh my God, I'm so scared to start and I'm scared what people think and blah, blah. And even when people start, there's such a big difference between signing up and starting. And I don't know if some of you guys have felt like you've signed up, that's cool, but have you started yet? Have you gone all in? Are you still, you know, scared of what people think? Or sometimes you start, but you're still going like, you know, half-ass and you're not fully involved. So I kind of want to just chat with you guys, just kind of what makes me me. And a lot of times I feel like people look at me like I've been in this for 4 years. I'm very active on social media and I seem super confident. And I think it's so important to share the things I've gone through that have brought me to this moment, because I want you guys to realize that confidence isn't something that happens overnight. It's something that's worked on. It's something that's practiced, and it's something that's built. And when you see me like posting or being, you know, social or running this call, etc., I had to, you know, build who I am. And I just want you guys to know, like, whatever you have gone through, whatever has happened in your past that's making you feel like there's this block that you cannot get to the next level. When you need to level up, it means that your whole life, everything you've been through, everything has to level up. I want you to know that you can. And again, I hope that, I know I'm like being fluffy right now, not actually getting into it because I'm nervous to share. Like I said, I don't think I've talked about this fully on a call before. So yeah, but I hope it makes you guys a little bit more vulnerable. So when people say to me, like, I'm so nervous, I'm like not confident, etc., I've had a really shitty high school experience that was like 5 years. So I'm gonna put out some trigger warnings just in case you get offended or anything easily. But bringing me back to high school of kind of like what really made me me. So I was super bullied in high school, and I feel like that's a huge part of my life that has actually shaped me to be who I am now. I was so severely bullied that I tried to take my life a bunch of different times. Sorry, I went from happy to kind of sad. But I tried to take my life a bunch of different times, and there were two big moments where I like really tried. Like the very last time I wrote a goodbye letter. And so the reason why I'm telling you this is just because I feel like, and especially with COVID, like so many times we feel like there's just this tunnel and all it is darkness. And I know this is so cheesy saying that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there truly is. And I am bringing this up to you guys because this is, like I said, part of my story. This is really what makes me me. This is why I'm like positive now, and I'm like corny and I'm cheesy. And it's because I've been through a lot that I always reflect on this. I have no clue how I'm here today. I really endured some terrible things from like other girls in my high school and stuff. I was like cornered in the bathroom, and like people would make fake accounts and call me. And what really led me to almost taking my life was that a girl called me and told me to do so. And I had my cousin pass away, and I remember she commented on my Facebook post and was like, "You deserve this," blah, blah, blah. There were so many rumors about me in the city that I was in, and I just couldn't believe that people weren't just asking me like, is it true? Or even if it was true, I'm still a human being. And I think that's why I also approach people so differently. I don't care if you're annoying. I don't care if you're out there. I don't care if you're different than me. As long as you're a nice human, I'm going to love you. And that's kind of like why I'm more like welcoming in that sense. And you really can't annoy me because I truly love like nice people. And so I want to tell you just this little like full circle moment that kind of leads me to Monate, because I actually, the day that I wrote my goodbye letter, so there was one other girl that I knew that she was a bit older than me, and we met in soccer, and she knew that I had depression, and I didn't even know what that word was. She actually was the one that told me about it. And I was like, oh my God, same, like cry myself to sleep every night. That's me. And just, was going through stuff, and she had her own things she was going through as well. And the day that I was, writing that letter, she actually sent me a text, and she had no clue. Like, I don't even think we spoke in like a week. And she sent me this quote. Can't remember what it was, but it saved my life. That was the day that everything was, I'm not going to get choked up, but that was the day that I really, really, really was at that point that I was like, I need to do this. And it sounds terrible, and it was terrible. And she sent me that quote, and it stopped me. I was like, what am I doing? Like, there's so much like else out there. Like, imagine when I'm out of high school and I'm out of this shitty ass town, and like there's so much more to live for. And funny story, so, well, not funny, but this is the full circle moment I'm talking about. She was my 7th market partner. I signed up, who then signed up a girl named Andrea, who signed up a girl named Colby, who signed up a girl named Hannah Fruin. If you guys know her, she's one of my directors. And so that, I feel like there's this cool full circle moment I think about a lot with that team, because just how like even me and Amanda didn't talk for a really long time. And when she signed up, I don't even think she knows that she like saved my life, but I always like think about that. And that's kind of like this, I know it's not super relevant, but it's just this little full circle moment that makes me just a little bit more grateful just about Monate. Like, it kind of hit home in a different way for me. So anyways, the reason why I'm like opening up to you and being, more vulnerable and more kind of sad on a call than I'd like to, is just because I really want you guys to just believe the power of your story. It holds a lot, and you are your power, and no one can take that from you. And it's so important for you guys to just share who you are and be so accepting and confident with who you are. And the moment that you start kind of, sharing even those more vulnerable parts of your life, I swear you're going to open up a completely new platform of people just like knowing who you are. Like, some of you guys have no clue who I am, and you feel like in maybe 8-10 minutes that you know who I am. So I really want you guys to just, I hope that this pushes you guys to just tell your story more, be open, be bold, go and do lives and talking videos and etc. So anyways, that was my past. I want to kind of tell you about when I was 22 when I started. So I actually have a chemistry degree and a math minor. And when I started, I was just finishing up my school year. And I was in my 5th year of school. I was living at home. My life looked so like different than it does now. So I've been in the business. I haven't even said this. I'm going back and forth, but 4 years and a month and a half. So I signed up middle of November in 2017. And one huge thing that looks super different is that I'm living in this house that I just bought. And almost $1 million home. And I've renovated it to be over $1 million home right now. And when I started, you guys, so My parents used to have a lot of money. And then in 2008, when the stock market crashed, my parents lost everything. We had to sell our boat, sold vehicles, downsize our house and stuff. And so it was kind of like oh my God, I went from like being a spoiled brat to like, I need a job. My first job was like $6 an hour. And so that kind of, led me to this moment. I forget where I was going with that, but anywho, when I first started, I really just wanted to try the products. And then, this is where I was going. When I first started, so like right before I started, I was so broke and I didn't ask my parents for money because I've already felt like such a burden, and money was like the thing that like, it kind of brought me back to that depression again that I had been in through high school. I cry myself to sleep every night thinking about money. Money, money, money. Like that's all I thought about. I couldn't even go to therapy because all I would think about was how my mom had to spend money on that session. And I just, so many things just revolved around money, and money became so like toxic and like just evil for me. And so, like there were a lot of times like I couldn't even afford to eat, and I didn't want to go. Obviously my parents had food at home, but I just like couldn't focus when I was at home. So I would always stay at Starbucks literally all day, all night. I wouldn't eat. I would just have so much coffee. I like ruined my stomach because like it was just very toxic, obviously. And so now like I just bought this home and all money. Like when I was in school, I stopped having a job toward my later years because I just could not balance it. And money has changed my life. And I really also want to bring this up that I know that some of you guys have been in this for a while and you think that you need to stop sharing because people know what you're doing and people maybe are sick of what you're talking about, and whatever excuse you want to give in your head. I want you to know that like some ladies on here too, and men, whoever's on here, like that you truly feel like this changed your life. Like if I hadn't been introduced to this opportunity, I don't know where I would be. I was so depressed right before I started. I'm a completely different person. I had no confidence. So now when I say I have no confidence, you can really know like where that came from. And another thing I didn't touch on that I wanted to, and I forgot, but my parents had a very not good relationship growing up. They stayed together though, and it actually ruined me even more. And so I found that every relationship I was in was just absolutely terrible. My first boyfriend was abusive and I stayed with him. I moved across the world for him. Like it was kind of crazy story I'm not going to get into. And so when I say I had no confidence, like I literally like didn't even know who I was. Like I had a full on, like, so my name's Kaylee and it looks like Callie. I would literally let people call me Callie because I was so scared of like making them feel uncomfortable. And it's my name. And I felt so scared, like making people feel uncomfortable about calling me the different name and embarrassing them. Like, how does that make sense? That's how much of the people pleaser I was. This is so like, I don't tell people this either because it's embarrassing. But at this one point, I used to model. I would because everyone called me Callie. I would start introducing myself as Callie. Like that's how of an identity crisis I was having. And I did not know who I was before I started this. And now I know who I am. And especially like this hard year we've all had, I'm sure that you guys have now felt more aligned with what you want to do with this. And I know like now what I want from Monat. And I've always known, but when we say adjusting your why, sometimes I feel like I already have it, but then you kind of dig a little bit deeper and you really just find just a new sense of alignment and like purpose and everything. I'm just like looking at my notes because I knew that I would, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was, that we were still going because I knew that I have such bad ADD. If I looked at the comments, I would literally be done. So we're going to just get rid of the Zoom again so I can focus. But anywho, so yeah, like this truly did change my life. And so I really want you guys to realize that there's still people out there that need this. And I'm not going into recruiting or anything. I think Larissa is actually going to do a call that she kind of talks about recruiting a bit too. But I just want to say that I know some people have this funny connotation with recruiting, and I really want you guys to realize how important this this opportunity we have to share this. That didn't make sense, but we can share this opportunity that can change someone's life. Like that's huge. And I know sometimes it's hard when not everyone, is biting the bullet and wanting to do this, or people fall off, etc. But I really want you guys to feel so aligned that like you know exactly what this can do for you, what it has done for you, what it's done for me and other, individuals that you've heard their stories. I want you to just really realize how life-changing this can be and how you're able to give someone that opportunity and be confident in that. And be confident that You're not me and I'm not you, and you're not anyone else on this call. You have, like I said, you have a power that nobody else has. I think sometimes we forget about that because we see these people that are ranking really fast, and we see these people that are hitting $1 million club in however many months or a few years. Like, we're seeing absurd but amazing. It obviously, if there's momentum somewhere, it means that we can achieve that too. But sometimes we see these crazy things and then we start to kind of think, who would want to buy from me? Who would want to follow me on social media? Who would want to join my team? But nobody is, and this is the cheesiest quote, but I live for it. Nobody is you, and that is truly your power. Nobody can take that away from you. So I really want you guys to just realize how important that is. And the thing is, though, if you don't share who you are, nobody knows who you are. So does that make sense? So that's kind of why, like, storytelling and saying, and sharing more of your stories and stuff is so important, because if no one is you and that is your power, well, how are people going to know who you are if you're not sharing who you are? Do you know what I mean? So anywho, kind of going back to my story, my story is kind of crazy. I was so set on being a professor. Like, I can't even tell you how long I knew I was going to get my master's and PhD. Like, I just knew, and then I didn't. And I ended up pursuing this full time. I went all in within a year and a month. I had tutored some students. I took another course that I needed to get into my master's. And then I was like, I really want to just do this. Like, I felt like, and I truly do still believe that Mon8 checks every single box. Like, when I wanted to teach, I was going to start at like 60 grand a year, which obviously is great, but like, we know that Mon8, you can make that in a month. So like, why am I going to settle at that a year when I know that I could potentially make that in a month? And another thing is, I want you guys to dream bigger than you ever have. I know sometimes people look at me like I'm absolutely crazy when I talk about that much money a month or more. Like, I don't want that. I want 100K a month. Like, truly, I believe that. I think sometimes we don't, we don't believe this like power that we hold, or we don't truly believe the power that the company holds, or we know that you can be really successful because we see this person and this person, but we don't believe that that can be us. And then what happens is you stop dreaming big, right? And what happens then when you stop dreaming big is when you if you just write down, I want 10 market partners, but you only believe you can get 1 or 0, what's going to happen? You're going to get 1 or 0. If you believe, okay, this person got this many, so I can get this many, that's when you're actually going to be able to achieve those goals. So sometimes just writing stuff on paper means nothing if you don't believe it. And a lot of these people, like, even like, the reason why I shared my story is because, like, I want you guys to realize that, like, I could have easily not believed in myself. Like, I have so many other things I haven't shared, but I had every reason to and I tried to give up on myself. Like, I thought I was completely worthless. I thought I had literally nothing. The reason why I got a chemistry degree is because I got really undermined in university and in high school by this one chemistry professor and math professor. And I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, I never really did anything because I wanted to, and I initiated it. I wanted to do those things to prove people wrong. So like, I never believed I could do this either. But actually, my mentor, Pixie, she kind of gave me this quote like 3 years ago. I still use it because I love it. But she was just saying, you have to sip your own Kool-Aid or nobody else will. And I love this because the moment she said that, I was like, damn, like, how much more do we kind of like believe people, or like, we are attracted to people that just have that confidence, right? And it's attractive. And so if you work on your confidence in your business, it is really going to help you in your business. And again, it's something that you work on. It's something that you do affirmations. You kind of accept the things you've went through. You accept the things that have made you you, and realize that, you're exactly where you're meant to be. You're an, amazing person, a beautiful person. And you have to just really like believe that you are an amazing mentor, and you can be an amazing mentor, and you can be an amazing, I don't know, what would we call ourselves? Customer, like if we were like doing the customer side of things, or sales rep, whatever you want to call us, market partner, obviously. But you have to believe those things, or like nobody else is going to. And that really helped me just like realize like, oh, like that makes sense. And now I have to start believing in myself. And the moment I started believing in myself, then what happens? if you have a team, what happens the moment you start believing in yourself? Then your team starts believing in themselves because your team is doing what you do. And sometimes too, if you have a team, one person means you have a team, clients, you have a team. People following you, maybe you're new, but you don't have a team yet, you have a team because you have a potential team. So everything that you do, your team is going to like mimic and hopefully do about half. So it's not just about the IPAs you're doing and the posting, it's the belief, right? How can someone, believe in themselves if they're looking at someone who doesn't, right? So I really want you guys to just work on that, especially like I said, do you know how many people jumped ship and we're all here? That is something to be so proud of, because you last year made everyone either choose to sink or swim, to grow or die. And we all chose to swim and we all chose to grow. And that's huge. That's something in itself, VIPs, MPs, popping MMPs, whatever. That's something hugely important to be proud of yourself. That wasn't really English. I can never speak, but do you know what I mean? That's something you should be so proud of yourself for, because that's something 10 years from now, we're going to be the ones making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars off this business because we decided to stick it out when it got hard. And another thing, I know I should probably, what time is it? I should probably finish up soon. But another thing I want to just say, because I'm going all over the place and you haven't really heard my full story yet, and that's what I wanted. But so when I decided to go all in on this, that in 2019, was it 2019? 2017, 2018? Yeah, 2019. What happened for me is that I lost a lot of my business. And I know that happens to everyone, and you do not have to feel bad for me because I don't even feel bad for me. I was a huge reason why I lost a lot of my business. And also it just happens in this business and it's okay. And people fall off. And Ed Milet said this at Monations. He was like, those people that they fall off or, they ghost you or whatever. And we're all like, yeah. And then he was like, those are just 10 years from now, those are just going to be extras in your story. You won't even remember their name. And I think, okay, maybe you'll remember their name, but just exaggerating a bit. But do you know what I mean? Sometimes we think that these people that are falling off are so crucial to everything and they define everything and they're the fate. And it means I'm not going to be successful and all these things that you put in your head, but it really doesn't mean anything. It just means that this wasn't for them. And now you're going to go find someone else who this is for, that it's as simple as that. Quick little thing that really helps me, because I used to be a super negative person, super negative. I'm so positive now. And my boyfriend always says I'm sunshine, and I really try to be. But something that really helps me is making little gratitude maps. So when I feel really anxious or just really sad, I write, and I actually do this. I'm not just telling you do this and I don't do it. I actually do this. So I will write down the things and it's usually in my business because it's a big part of my life. So I'll write down this person fell off or whatever you want to say. And I map it into something positive. So I'm like, okay, well, I only want people in my business who are going to work. Or let's say somebody left and they did something nasty when they left. Okay, well, I didn't want that in my organization anyways. I want these kind of people. And I try and make it positive. And then it makes me immediately be like, okay, I'm good. So if you guys want to try that, that's something that really helps me. And I do genuinely do it when I'm anxious. And so anyways, going back to my story, I just want to quickly share with you guys how I overcame that moment when I was really stagnant for 7 months and I went extremely backwards. And that is going to apply to, what I'm doing now because, it's been a little bit rocky, which is totally fine. It's what is going to happen in network marketing. And if you stick it out, like I said, you're going to thrive and prosper off of this English. But what happened for me is that I was, again, everything that was happening in my business negative, I was feeling like it defined my existence and my fate in Monat. So I was literally like, okay, this person fell off, so I suck, and I'm a bad leader, and oh my God, there's no one else in Canada that wants to do this. And every negative thing you could say, I said it and I felt it and I believed it. And that's the issue, right? I had that disconnect at the time with confidence and belief. A huge thing too, I'm going all over the place. I really hope I provided value, is gratitude. If you right now are thinking about all the negative things in your business and you are not thinking about the people that are still there, that is the issue, gratitude. When I have some leaders in my organization that will just say all the stuff that's going wrong, and I'm checking their back office, oh my God, they're going to be at 0. And then they have 8,000 or they have 4,000 or whatever of 200. I'm like, you're making it seem like you're at zero because you're only talking about the negative. So I'm only looking at the negative. Trust me, the moment you are grateful for the things in your business that you still have, even if it's just, okay, you haven't signed someone up in a long time, but you have a really good VIP clientele. Well, guess what? VIPs turn into MPs. So that's not that bad. You know, there's always a positive. And I know this is so cheesy and corny, like, you know, preaching positivity, but trust me, that's what ruined my business in 2019. Every month it was another negative thing after another negative thing in my head. And then guess what? If I didn't believe in myself, my team didn't believe in themselves. If I was thinking all these things, my team thought that. And I know sometimes we think that, okay, well, I'm not telling my team, so it's not like extra baggage. But what happens when you lose that confidence and belief in yourself and in the business? Do you really try and like interact with new people every single day, and you're in your DMs 5 times a day, and you're going live on Facebook, and you're going live on Instagram, and you're all these things? No. Like, if you're not feeling it, you're not working. Right? So that's why it's so important to like do that personal development, even if you think that you don't need it, like you do. Everyone needs it. I still do it. And just because like there's bad days, right? And on my bad days, I try and like do things to make my bad days better. Yeah, and that really helped me. Just, I think one day, and it was actually Monations in 2019, that I had about 30 of my team there. And this was like pre-COVID, right? So there should have been a lot more people there, but a lot of people had, you know, fallen off. And I looked at the 30 people and I was like, damn, I could not be more. And my team knows I cried the whole time. And I'm like emotional, but like, I don't cry that easily. Like, that to me was letting all the fear and the toxicity of feeling negative come out of me and just like go into tears. Like, I'm not kidding you. I cried the whole time. I went up to Julie Stevens because she's like my top mentor. And this is so embarrassing. And I hope she never knows who I am, like, ever, and just forgot about it. But I was bawling and I was leaving. It was our last day. And I went up to her and I was like, I just want you to know you changed my life. And like, oh my God, it was so embarrassing. I hate thinking about that. But I'm telling you this because I truly cried the whole time. And it's just because I had so much gratitude. And I think that was when I realized, I didn't know what it was, like that, the word gratitude, like I didn't know what it was. But then I listened to this, was it a YouTube video maybe? I don't really like podcasts. I like looking at people. So I think it was a YouTube video, Jay Shetty. And I think it was just called Gratitude. It was so transformational. And that's when everything clicked. And I was like, oh, that's what I was feeling, gratitude. And then that's kind of when I realized, like, that is a secret sauce in this business. If you're grateful for the things that you still have and you're just looking at the positives and you're not looking at the negatives, then this business is more enjoyable. It's easier. And you will, like, you start doing the things that you need to do. So anywho, yeah. And then I was ED, and then I had the rank I was mostly hitting was MMM. Couple months I hit MM. So if you are going backwards, who cares? We all go backwards. It doesn't really matter. It's not defining your money career. Like, we're at, what are we, year 7 of money? I don't know, year 7, year 8. I'm at year 4. The peak of your like network marketing career is usually 7 to 10 years, but like sometimes more than that. Think of all the people that have been in this, you know, or not in money, but in other network marketing companies for so long. Like, obviously it's going to get better. And another 2 things, I know I'm all over the place. Like I said, I really hope I'm providing value, but one thing I want to say, I just shared this on my call yesterday, so my leaders are going to hear the repeat. But my dad, so he was in network marketing. He was very successful. It was a little bit different, which maybe is like shady of them for doing, but him and his partner split a pack. And so they kind of like shared this spot. And so anyways, they were both bringing home about 10K. So they made about 20K. My dad decided to, not going to get into it, but he had a really big ego and he was like, I'm going to just, quit. So he obviously got a buyout from his partner. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because that spot went from making 20K in, I think it was 2008. It must have been. So 2008. So now so actually when it was 2020, so obviously like 12 years later, but, is that the right math? Yes. 12 years later, but, still, like, making the more than that is obviously amazing. That spot went from 20K to 350K. And my dad doesn't talk about it because obviously that sucks. Like to know that you gave up that spot and now it's making like that much money a freaking month, that is something you don't want to talk about, right? So I asked my dad, I'm like, what changed? Like what happened? Like what kind of miracle is this? What kind of wizardry is this? And he was like, oh, just like some new products. And I'm like, new products? Like money always has new products. And that's when I realized I'm never quitting. I'm married to this. I'm literally committed. Me and Money have children. Like that's how committed I am. And that's how you should feel. Cause this is a long-term thing that if you're working towards this every single day forever, it doesn't matter what you're making now. It doesn't matter if you're not where you want to be. It's a long-term, you got to be married to your goals and married to this business. Yeah, I think that's huge because think about like how many countries we're not in. And there's obviously like more things that are going to come with our products and other products and whatever. But I'm just thinking about the countries. Like we're not done yet. Like we're not finished. So I hope that gives you more sense of just like excitement and passion and belief and stuff. Just knowing about the future. I think sometimes we get so laser focused on these things that happen like tomorrow and like a week from now and a month and even a year, but think of like, you got to be married to your goals in this. And yeah, so anyways, sorry, I'm going all over the place, but I ended up getting back to director and I had officially lost my rank in 2019. And then a few months later, I got my rank back and I hit ED. And then I was literally 2 months in a row, I was 15,000 DV, had everything else for SED. I almost hit SED, you guys. And now I've gone kind of backwards again, but I want you guys to know that if you've gone on this like crazy journey, first off, if you're down here, it's going to get better. Trust me, but you have to work. You can't just wait for good things to happen to you. If you're not putting in the work, the universe is going to reward you, but only if you are doing the things necessary to be rewarded, if that makes sense. So if you're doing nothing, you're not going to get rewarded. And another thing to think of, I like to give this analogy, is think of your business as a puzzle. And think of all of these puzzle pieces that make a puzzle. So if you take out a few puzzle pieces, is it complete and is it a puzzle? No. So that's why it's so important to do everything. And I know sometimes it gets overwhelming, like trying to fit everything into your day and etc. But if you can even just do a little bit of everything, you still have your puzzle. And it's so important to do this because sometimes, for instance, let's say you're doing everything, but you're not doing talking videos, you're not going live, etc. Well, then I already kind of talked about it. People don't know who you are. And again, if you are you and that's your power and it's no one else's power, well, no one knows that when you're not sharing, right? So that's sometimes the missing piece. That's the secret sauce. That's the thing that could literally level up your entire business and your life. Or let's say you are so scared to go out in person. And this was me for so long. I had such bad anxiety in public. And I like literally head down, don't look at me. Like I want to be in a bubble. I wish I could wear just a coat that just wrapped around my entire body because I hated just like, I don't know why, making eye contact. And that's something that I was like, hey, when I would tell the puzzle analogy, I'm like, I'm so hypocritical. Like that part is something that could be changing my business. So I put my head up. I try and like actually like, talk to people and say things. And now I'm like trying to fit that in because you never know, just like you don't know what country we're going to expand to that's going to completely skyrocket your business. You don't know. So don't go anywhere because you don't know. And the other thing is that if there's something that you're not doing, you don't know if that's the thing that could literally be leveling up your entire life. And to me, I do like everything that I can think of as, and this isn't an income producing activity call, but I do everything I can think of from my leaders, from analyzing everywhere, just to make sure that I'm doing everything I can, just make sure that just in case, right? Like you never know what's going to really take everything to the next level. So anyways, I hope that this provided value. So just a couple like takeaways, because I didn't look at my notes at all. But the going all in part, I actually didn't really cover this, but the reason why I got anywhere is because I decided to actually like go all in. I guess I kind of went into it because confidence and belief is a huge thing to making you go all in. But that's going to change your whole business. Like if you feel like you've been half in, half out, or you sometimes dip your toes in, or you sometimes get on a call, like I am the, hopefully, and the other leaders that are going to be sharing every single week are examples that going all in makes a difference. And I actually, there's a girl on my team that she didn't really do anything in her business. She worked it very slow, just at her own pace for like, I think a year and a half. And then one day she was just like, no, I want to pick up the pace. I want to put my foot on the gas, etc. And then now she's like AMM, almost MM, and has like a fire team. And I'm like, whoa, where did you come from? And then she was telling me like, I just decided to actually go all in, and it just happened to be like a year and a bit later. And so that's the power of going all in. I hope that you guys realize how important confidence and belief are, and sharing your story. Sharing your story, I think at Mon Nations they said this, but sharing your story makes money. Sharing your story will make you a millionaire, whatever they kind of said. But it's so true, because I've said this a million times. I'm gonna say it one last time, but it makes you you. It makes people know who you are, and you are the power that you have, and you are the one people are buying. Like the reason people are buying is because of you, not Monate. The reason why people are signing up is because of you, not Monate. And yeah, I hope you also kind of just realize that anyone can do this. And, you know, sometimes if we've been in this for 4 years, like I don't want you to ever compare my chapter 1,000,000 of being in this for 4 years and a bit to your like chapter 1. Like if you feel like you don't have the confidence, like, or whatever, that's kind of why I wanted to share my past and my background and everything, just so you know that we all start like generally in the same place. And that if I can do this, like you can do this as well. So that's all I got. I hope that this provided value for you guys, and that is it. So I know that I don't have I'm not the host, but I'm gonna leave, and then and then Larissa's gonna end it. But yeah, I hope that this was good, and we'll see all of you next week with the rest of our amazing leaders. And that's it. Bye, guys.